San Diego is a city known for their amazing beaches, oceans, and food. But sports, not so much. They used to have some basketball teams in the 60s and 70s, but both of those got relocated. The San Diego Chargers lasted 55 years in football, but were moved to LA in 2016, a moment that broke the hearts of the sports fans in San Diego. So that leaves baseball. The San Diego Padres have been in the MLB for over 50 years, but have basically nothing to show for it, other than, being the oldest team to never win a World Series. A team with constant losing seasons, playoff struggles, and horrible decisions. A team that should have a championship to their name, but instead have none. So how is this franchise cursed? In this video, we'll explore the entire history of the San Diego Padres. In 1769, a city in California was founded by a group of Spanish Franciscan friars named San Diego. As the founders of a city that today has over 1.4 million residents, San Diego's baseball team dedicated their name towards their Spanish ancestors, Padres. Baseball in San Diego began all the way back in 1936, where the Padres joined a minor league in the Pacific Coast. Although the league wasn't widely known, the Padres won the title in 1937, led by a then 18-year-old Ted Williams. Fast forward to 1969, and the MLB is looking to expand. As a big market in Cali, San Diego was introduced into Major League Baseball. The Padres came into this league ready to win. They had a promising owner, a Hall of Fame announcer, and a completely new ballpark. So how did they do? Bottom of their division every single year. The only excitement came from Nate Colbert, a home run machine who had 5 homers and 13 RBIs in one doubleheader. So that's fun and all, but even the late great Nate Colbert can't rescue the Padres in the 70s. I mean, in 74, the organization was on the verge of being sold to Washington, D.C. Fortunately, the sale got tied up in lawsuits, so the Padres were instead sold for $12 million to Ray Kroc. If you don't recognize the name already, Ray Kroc is a co-founder of McDonald's. Apparently, Kroc was reading a newspaper about San Diego's rough situation, so he decided to buy the team. Who knew that this would be the reason why San Diego has baseball today? And it seemed like Ray Kroc was pretty happy with this choice. Apparently in his first home game, Kroc grabbed the microphone and told the fans, "I have never seen such stupid ball playing in my life," which was then followed by cheering and a streaker running across the field. Basically, the Padres were the laughingstocks of the league, who put up the league's worst records year after year. But everything would change once a new player joined the team in '73. A freak athlete who got drafted to the NFL, NBA, and ABA, but settled on the San Diego Padres. Someone so good he entirely skipped the minor leagues. Dave Winfield. When you hear the name Dave Winfield, you think of his days on the New York Yankees, or the game-winning hit that won Toronto the World Series. But many don't know that his career began in San Diego, where he became an integral part of the team. So how good was Dave Winfield? In 8 short years, Winfield became the Padres' second all-time RBI leader, 3rd in hits, 4th in homers, along with 4 All-Stars and 2 Gold Gloves. Not bad. But above this statistical success, Winfield also helped bring the Padres out of the NL basement. Alongside Winfield was left-handed pitcher Randy Jones, known for his trademark sinkers. In '76, Jones put up one of the best pitching years in San Diego history, winning 22 games with a 2.74 ERA. More importantly, Randy Jones became the first Padre to win the NL Cy Young Award. Want some more Cy Young winners? Well, in '78, the Padres picked up starting pitcher Gaylord Perry, a 39-year-old with little expectations. That year, Perry posted a 21-6 record, 2.73 ERA, and a Cy Young. They also picked up Ozzie Smith, a walking highlight reel at shortstop, and hosted the All-Star Game, which brought lots of attention to San Diego. Even better, the Padres held their first winning season in franchise history. Winning feels good, doesn't it? Why don't we follow this promising campaign up with 68 wins? You know what? Screw it. Roger Craig, you're fired. Soon, Perry, Smith, and Jones left as well. Ultimately, the final nail in the coffin was Dave Winfield, who was still posting great stats despite the rough years. But after 1980, he finally had enough and signed with the Yankees. Winfield would go on to accomplish some of baseball's greatest feats: 3,000 hits, 400 homers, and a World Series. But after playing for 22 years on 6 teams, Winfield chose the Padres to appear on his Hall of Fame ballot, a proud moment in San Diego that gave them their first Hall of Famer. But when one great player leaves, another comes. And this time, the Padres weren't just going to settle for a winning record. San Diego was going for it all. 1984 began with a shock, with owner Ray Kroc dying of heart disease in early January. In memory of Kroc, the team wore his initials on their jerseys. But this sad moment was followed by one of the best seasons in Padres history. San Diego was being led by Dick Williams, a fierce manager. Although Williams was known to be demanding and controversial, he helped bring the once futile team to relevance. The Padres featured many talented players, but all of their names were overshadowed by a young 24-year-old named Tony Gwynn. Today, Tony Gwynn is considered the undisputed greatest player in Padres history. To see if that's really true, let's look into his career. Tony Gwynn was a native of Southern Cali who attended San Diego State and was selected to the Padres in '81. Almost immediately, the right fielder would establish himself as one of the best pure contact hitters in baseball, hitting above 300 in every season besides one. To explain it better, Ted Williams hit a career batting average of .344 during the 40s and 50s, and ever since then, only one person has gotten close to overcoming that feat. With an average of .338, Tony Gwynn. Gwynn wasn't known as a power hitter, but instead a contact hitter, and his great eyesight made it so he could see the seams of the ball while it was in motion. Gwynn played in San Diego for 2 whole decades, earning him the nickname Mr. Padre. Mr. Padre would go on to win virtually every club record, including all-time hits, batting average, runs, total bases, RBIs, stolen bases, and walks. This fueled an incredible 8 batting titles, 8, which is tied for second in baseball history. He made 15 All-Star teams, won 7 Silver Sluggers, 5 Gold Gloves, and played elite defense in right field. The feats that Gwynn accomplished are so impressive that many say it will never be done again. And in 1984, Gwynn was a young Padre trying to get his name around the league. The Padres posted their best record, winning 92 games on the road to the NL West crown, facing the Chicago Cubs in the playoffs. The Cubs were a team hoping to reach their first World Series in 39 years, while the Padres were the new kids in the block trying to play spoiler. Game 1 was at Wrigley, and Chicago shut him out 13-zip. Not good. Okay then, Game 2. The game's much closer, but the Padres fail to capitalize and get down 2-0. But despite being just 1 loss away from their season ending, more than 12,000 fans unexpectedly greeted the Padres on their return home from Chicago. The fans showed up again in Game 3, where San Diego dominated 7-1. This was carried into a crazy back and forth in Game 4, where it was all tied up in the bottom of the 9th. Then, Steve Garvey stepped up to the plate.
Deep right field, way back, cutter going back to the wall, it's gone! Home run Garvey, and there will be tomorrow!
In the deciding Game 5, San Diego came back down 3-0 to knock off the Cubs and win their first National League pennant in franchise history. The Padres had unexpectedly put up one of their most exciting postseasons in '84. But this Cinderella run came to an end in the World Series. They had to face the Detroit Tigers, the best team in the league with 104 wins, who quickly shut down San Diego in a 5-game series. Despite losing the World Series, Padres fans were still happy with the exciting season they had. And after all, 1984 showed San Diego's potential. Now, they can only get better from here. 1985 started out promising, with the Padres en route to another playoff visit. But a late-season collapse knocked out any hopes for October. Over the following years, Dick Williams was let go as manager. Benito Santiago won NL Rookie of the Year with a 34-game hit streak. Pitcher Andy Benes was selected first overall en route to a solid career. And closer Mark Davis won the Cy Young. but no major success resulted from it. The only constant was Tony Gwynn, who continued to win batting titles and even slugged an incredible .394 in 1994. Meanwhile, owner Joan Kroc, widow of Ray Kroc, wanted to sell the team in 1990. Television producer Tom Werner bought the Padres and immediately tried to cross-promote the team with one of his sitcoms. Here's an idea. Let's invite Roseanne Barr to perform the Star-Spangled Banner. This would definitely go well. This publicity stunt was met with tons of controversy in San Diego. And you know what would be even more controversial? How about we trade two players with lots of potential to the Blue Jays? What do we get in return? Two guys that'll last just 2 years in San Diego. In Toronto, Roberto Alomar and Joe Carter turned into All-Stars, leading the Blue Jays to 2 consecutive World Series wins. These victories wouldn't have been possible without 3 former Padres: Alomar, Carter, and a little blast from the past, Dave Winfield. This only left Padres fans wondering what could have been. You know what will make our fans feel better? A fire sale. Tom Werner cut costs, decimated the roster, and lost over 100 games. On the bright side, the fire sale brought in some pitchers that would play a crucial role in the future. Another key player was snatched in a 1994 trade with Houston, bringing Ken Caminiti to San Diego. Cammy was a competitive snicker-eating third baseman who unanimously won the NL MVP in '96. And all of a sudden, the Padres are back in business. Under a new front office with Bruce Bochy, Kevin Towers, John Moores, and Larry Lucchino, the Padres built a dominant infield with Tony Gwynn and outfield with Ken Caminiti and Ricky Henderson. Not to mention the pitching game, led by Andy Ashby and Trevor Hoffman. You may recognize the name Trevor Hoffman, since he is regarded by many as the second best closer in MLB history behind Mariano Rivera. The righty pitched in San Diego for 16 years, earning a 2.76 ERA and 552 saves. He became so iconic that whenever Padres fans heard Hell's Bells, they knew Hoffman was about to close the game with his nasty changeup. San Diego had all the pieces. Now they just needed to make a run for the World Series. In '96, the Padres went on the road to Dodger Stadium in a series that would determine the division winner. In the 11th inning of the final game, Tony Gwynn's brother, Chris Gwynn, shot a double through the gap.
Driven to right center. That's in the gap. Finley will score easily. Caminiti is getting the wave. Gagne's throw to the plate is cut, and it's a 2-run double for Chris Gwynn. And the Padres have jumped on top 2-0.
This exciting sweep against their rivals led the Padres to their first postseason in 12 years, where they got swept by the Cardinals. However, 1998 would become San Diego's best season to date. In the regular season, they trounced their opponents, winning 98 games and cruising their way past Randy Johnson and the Astros in the divisional. Next was the 106-win Atlanta Braves, a team that they would upset 4-2 on the road to their second ever World Series. Everything was in place. A stacked roster now just 4 games away from a World Championship. And with Tony Gwynn reaching the latter years of his career, the Padres would have to capitalize on this opportunity. The team standing in their way? The New York Yankees. And these Yankees just happen to be having one of the best single seasons in MLB history, winning an insane 114 games. Despite being heavy underdogs, the Padres battled in Game 1 at Yankee Stadium. Tony Gwynn homered to put San Diego briefly ahead, but New York would soon spoil their hope.
And the 3-2. Swung on it, goes deep to right. There it goes. That ball is gone. A grand slam into the upper deck for Tino Martinez.
That heartbreaker definitely set the tone, since San Diego had no shot the rest of the series. Mariano Rivera shut down the Padres' bats and swept San Diego in their own stadium.
In time, ball game over, World Series over, Yankees win. The New York Yankees, professional sports' most storied, gloried franchise, has once again scaled baseball's Everest.
In 1998, San Diego approved the construction of a new stadium called Petco Park. Unfortunately, the construction of a new ballpark came alongside a roster that was falling apart. Despite a disappointing '99 season, the Padres still had one positive moment. On August 6, Tony Gwynn earned hit number 3,000.
Waiting to pitch. There's a drive, right center field, base hit, and there it is! Ho-ho, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby! A star for the ages for Tony Gwynn, number 3,000!
This would be the final major accolade Gwynn would receive in San Diego. Just 2 years later, Mr. Padre hung up the towel and retired. Gwynn represented what a franchise player should be: loyal, talented, and extremely devoted to his team. On a franchise that's had its ups and downs, Tony rode through it all and posted some of the best stats you'll ever see while doing it. In 2007, Gwynn was elected into the Hall of Fame with a whopping 97.6% of the vote, and forever became known as Mr. Padre. After 5 losing seasons, the Padres moved into Petco Park in 2004. With the ballpark's downtown location and open-air layout, fans started getting involved again. This rise in interest led to regular season success. Like in 05 and 06, the Padres reached the divisionals, but ended up losing both times to the St. Louis Cardinals. The following year, in a win-or-go-home against the Rockies, the Padres fought in 13 long innings for a spot at the playoffs.
To right field. Giles is there to make the catch. Tagging is Holiday. The throw to the plate. He is safe.
It looked like Barrett stuck his foot out there on his bare hand right there, and the hand never got home plate.
The Padres also got close to reaching the postseason in 2010, but a late season collapse caused them to miss their shot. It would take 13 years until San Diego would reach the postseason again. Over those years, ace pitcher Jake Peavy would deliver some of the best ERAs in San Diego history, including an 07 season that won him the Triple Crown and Cy Young. Also, Adrian Gonzalez became a hitting machine at first base, Chris Young dominated at pitcher, and Chase Headley turned into a star too. But the mismanagement of the front office led to no major success in San Diego. Like back in 2004, the Padres used their first overall pick to select San Diego native Matt Bush. In 4 years, the shortstop got suspended, broke his ankle, then switched positions to pitcher, where he tore a ligament in his throwing arm. Bush didn't play a single game in San Diego. These poor front office decisions started piling into the 2010s as well, when GM Jed Hoyer traded away Corey Kluber, a hidden talent that would, go on to win 2 Cy Youngs on the Indians. They also sent away another star, Adrian Gonzalez. In return, they got Anthony Rizzo, a first baseman who struggled in San Diego. Because of his lackluster play, the Padres sent Rizzo to Chicago, where he led the Cubs to a World Series. So while Kluber and Rizzo faced off in the biggest stage in 2016, Padres fans were sitting at home whining about their decade of losing records and fired managers. That was until 2019. On February 21st, 2019, the Padres signed Manny Machado to a record-breaking 10-year, $300 million contract. Machado, a former Dodger, went from public enemy to fan favorite. His power hitting has already turned him into the Padres' all-time home run leader after just 5 years in San Diego. Also in 2019, the Padres debuted a young freak athlete named Fernando Tatis Jr. Nicknamed El Niño, Tatis has already dealt with some significant adversity, including a PED suspension in 2022. However, his rookie year turned him into an instant sensation in San Diego. Tatis has already led the NL in homers and still has yet to reach the peak of his career. In 2020's pandemic-shortened season, the Padres went 37-23 and qualified for the playoffs. They beat the Cardinals in a best-of-3 before being swept against the eventual world champ Dodgers. The Padres came into 2021 in contention for a World Series, and Joe Musgrove even threw the first no-hitter in franchise history. But a late-season slump eliminated them from contention. In 2022, the mid-season acquisition of superstar Juan Soto and Josh Bell propelled San Diego back to the playoffs, where they upset the 101-win New York Mets in the wild card. This set up a rematch against their in-state rivals. Over the past 50 years, the Dodgers have dominated the Padres and never lost to San Diego in the playoffs. However, that changed after the Padres stunned LA 5-3 at Dodger Stadium. Now, tied at 1 apiece, the series shifted towards Petco Park, and the Padres had momentum.
Goes out to the first pitch, sends it to right. It's 2-0. 3-1 game in the 7th with nobody out. Kim bounces it towards third. It's a fair ball. Grisham will score. On his way to third is Nola. Into second base, Kim. It's a 1-run game in the 7th. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Corner right to center field. Padres take the lead. Kim is in. Here comes Soto. Off the mound. 5-3 Padres. Hader to Freeman. He's for the first time in 24 years, the San Diego Padres are headed to the National League Championship Series.
This satisfying win came with an even tougher opponent in the NLCS, the Philadelphia Phillies. The Padres fought hard, but were eliminated in 5 games. A couple years later, Luis Arraez and Fernando Tatis led San Diego to 93 wins and another rematch of the Dodgers, this time against Shohei Ohtani. San Diego would get up 2-1, just 1 game away from winning the series, until their bats went quiet. The Padres collapsed, going scoreless in the final 24 innings of the series.
In the air, shallow center field. It is up to 5 for a Game 5. Dodgers in a rout here in San Diego, 8-0 to extend their season. Tatis, the last hope for the Padres. Ground ball to third, picked by Hernandez. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series.
This year in 2025, the Padres started out hot and set club records for attendance at Petco Park, but flamed out in the wild card to the Chicago Cubs. This disappointing loss leaves San Diego fans feeling like they again fell short of expectations. And with the rising payroll and several key players going into free agency, Padres fans are left wondering what their future will look like. The Padres have been playing professional ball for over 50 years, but they've never seemed to get over that hump. San Diego has gone through the same cycle. Rebuild, form a roster with lots of potential, lose against a tough opponent, trade away their talent, and rebuild all over again. This cycle has produced 5 Cy Young winners, 11 batting titles, and 1 MVP, but 0 championships. Only 2 beatdowns in the World Series. One day, hopefully, this desperate fan base can finally get a World Series to their name. But for now, the San Diego Padres can only be described as cursed.